Hey guys, it's Natalie, and I'm back again with another video today, and today I thought I'd do another video in my Fact Frenzy series, which, if you didn't already know, it's a series where I'm going to pick an animal and talk about the animal and talk about facts, because I love facts, and if you're like me and you love to learn facts and tell other people facts, then this video is great for you. Pacman frogs are a really commonly kept pet, but I find here on YouTube not a lot of people talk about them. So today I wanted to tell you guys a bunch of really cool facts about these guys. I think they're really amazing animals and they're really fun to have as a pet. Let's get into the video. The scientific name of the Pacman frog is Ceratophorus ornata. Pacman frogs are native to South America, so they're from a really hot and humid environment, and when they're kept in captivity, they really like a high humidity. Pacman frogs are about a quarter size as a baby, so about an inch big, so they're really small and really tiny and adorable. Adult male Pacman frogs reach lengths of 2 to 4 inches, and females get a lot larger at 4 to 7 inches. Speaking of males and females, we're going to be talking about the sexual dimorphism, or the way to tell whether an animal is a boy or a girl.
I actually didn't know there was a lot of ways to tell the differences between a male and female Pacman frog, so I did my own individual research on this part because I had no idea how to tell the difference between a male and a female.
So besides the size difference, males will croak a lot more than females, and males tend to have a darker chest. It's also said that males have more of a flat face and females have more of a triangular shaped face. It's also said that males have a more visible vocal sac, which basically looks like a giant double chin, and also they have a different type of nuptial pads, which are their feet basically, and they have 2 extra appendages to latch onto females during intercourse. Because it's really a slight difference, I'll show a picture right here. It's not my photo, I got it from Google, and it's a picture of the differences between male and female nuptial pads on their feet. As you can see, there is a slight difference in the nuptial pads of the male, and you usually can't tell the differences between genders until the Pacman frog is an adult. It's really hard to tell as a baby because they look generally the same, and those are all the ways that I know how to tell the difference between a male and a female Pacman frog. In captivity, Pacman frogs have a lifespan of 10 to 15 years if cared for properly. This means even though they are frogs, Pacman frogs are a long-term commitment as a pet, just like any cat or dog.
Although Pacman frogs are really easy to take care of and they don't take up a lot of space, that does not mean that they are a pet that you can get and forget. They are a long-time commitment. They live for 10 to 15 years, so that's a really long time. So you shouldn't be neglecting Pacman frogs, even though they're easy to take care of, and you shouldn't be neglecting any animal for that matter. And if you guys are interested in how to care for these guys, I have a whole care video about Pacman frogs up on my channel, and I will link it in the description down below if you're interested.
Pacman frogs are a nocturnal species, which means they are asleep during the day and awake at night, and with that being said, they spend a majority of their day buried underneath their substrate. Pacman frogs are a burrowing animal, and they spend a majority of their life underground, and that's how they like it, and that's also a way that they stay away from predators. Pacman frogs are lazy animals. They are not the type of animal to go out and hunt for their food. They wait for their food to come to them. They are a sit and wait predator. So like I said, Pacman frogs are really lazy animals, and they will sit in one spot all day and all night, and they are completely fine with that. That's how they live their life. And if you want an animal that's really active and will go hunt for their food and you can watch them, Pacman frogs are not the pet for you. They will sit in one place all day, and they love it that way. A lot of you may be wondering, what's the point in having a Pacman frog if it doesn't do anything? And that's because it's purely a beautiful observatory animal. I have a Pacman frog because I can just look at it and say, wow, that's a beautiful frog, and it's really cool. Another reason people keep Pacman frogs is because they're really cool to watch eat. They are voracious eaters, and they will eat anything that you put in front of them, including your fingers. Pacman frogs are also really cool because you can feed them a variety of foods. You can feed them crickets, dubia roaches, you can give them earthworms, night crawlers, and you can even give them feeder fish when they're a bit bigger. It's really cool to watch them eat because they are so hungry and wanting to eat all the time. I have never had Scout refuse a meal since I've had her. She has never missed a meal. She has always wanted to eat, no matter what. Pacman frogs also have a really sticky tongue, so once they've got their prey, they've really got their prey, and then they take their tongue back in their mouth, their giant tongue, and just swallow their food. They have an amazing bite force, an amazing tongue, and they just are such cool animals to watch eat. Like I said, Pacman frogs will eat just about anything, and that includes your fingers when they're put in front of their face. They have such a hard bite. Their bite is compared to that of a mammalian bite, just because it is so hard and they have such a strong bite force for such a small animal. And Pacman frogs do have teeth, so have caution when you're handling your frog or you're going anywhere near it because they will jump. Like, just all of a sudden, like, they'll be sitting there, and all of a sudden they'll jump towards you. Like, it's crazy. And I've seen Scout do it before. It's nuts. I'll insert a video of it right here, actually. So yeah, Pacman frogs can make pretty sudden movements, so whenever you're handling your frog or doing anything in their enclosure, just watch your fingers because they will bite you and it does hurt. If you're thinking about getting a Pacman frog, I'm not trying to sway you against getting one, but I'm just saying be careful with their bites. I've only been bitten once by my little Scout, and I've had her for months, and she's only bit me once, so yeah. They don't really bite that much, but I'm just saying be careful because it does hurt.
Since we're talking about handling, I'm going to mention that, like all frogs, Pacman frogs have really sensitive skin, and the oils in your hands can really damage their skin, so you shouldn't be handling your Pacman frog often or at all. I only handle Scout when I'm cleaning out her enclosure, and when I do handle her then, I wear gloves. And if you do wear gloves, I can recommend vinyl dust-free gloves. Latex can be really irritating to their skin, and the powder can be bad for their skin, so I just use vinyl latex-free gloves, and that's just what I'm recommending.
So yeah, like I said, Pacman frogs are an observatory animal. You shouldn't really be handling that much because they have really sensitive skin and you can do some real damage with the oils in your fingers. If Pacman frogs become too cold or too dry, they create a hard casing over their bodies and it looks like they're dead. And usually when they get like this, it's possible to rehydrate them by soaking them in water, but once they have this hard casing over them, they do it to absorb all the moisture that they have left over on their skin because they're too dry or too cold. And then, when they break it off, they eat it, which is really cool, and I think that's something about Pacman frogs that's really resourceful and really cool. So the last thing I wanted to note is, if you are thinking about getting a Pacman frog, just know that you cannot house them together. Even though they're frogs and you're like, oh, frogs are peaceful, and some frogs can be kept communal, like dart frogs or tree frogs, you can't do that with Pacman frogs because they are known to be very cannibalistic, and if you house them together, they will end up eating each other or tearing off limbs, and it's just not a good idea to house them together. So if you're looking for a communal frog, don't get a Pacman frog. Get something like a dart frog, like I said, or a tree frog, because Pacman frogs cannot be kept together. Overall, Pacman frogs are amazing animals and they're really cool to have as pets. And yeah, I hope you guys learned something today. Leave a like, subscribe down below, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single upload. And yeah, thanks for watching. Humid client.
I've got a very humid client here.
Hot and humid client, and when they're
Client. Why do I keep saying client? I mean climate. How do I mix up client and climate? Two different things.